and proud to say that since 2016, we have passed 237 pieces of legislation, counting bills and resolutions within this House. And I'm honored to have piloted 153 of them, 93 bills and 60 resolutions, but who's counting? This has fallen across, Mr. President, various portfolios and ministries. We have passed the Jury Amendment Act. In 2017, we established the Integrity Commission. We also passed the Major Organized Crime and Anti-Corruption Agency Act. We have also passed the Tourism Workers Pension Act. We have passed the Data Protection Act. We also have passed the Sexual Harassment Protection and Prevention Act, the Judicature Appellate Jurisdiction and Parish Court Amendment Act. We have passed the Bank of Jamaica Amendment Act to authorize the BOJ to issue central bank digital currency as legal tender locally. We passed the Road Traffic Amendment Act, the Road Traffic Regulations and the Transport Authority Amendment Act, the Firearms Prohibition, Restriction and Regulation Act 2022, which will strengthen the fight against gun crimes, which, as we know, comprise the majority of murders. Today, Jamaica maintains diplomatic relations with 174 countries of the 193 members of the UN. Within my tenure, we have added 9 countries, 1 from Europe and the remainder from Africa and the Pacific, and it is our intention to continue this important process of expansion and inclusion. Throughout the period of the COVID-19 pandemic, in particular, the Foreign Ministry spared no effort working closely with the Ministry of Health and Wellness and its agencies in securing vaccines, medical equipment and supplies, which continue today to bolster the public health system. Thousands of lives have been touched by funds allocated to priority areas. We established and I chaired an external support coordination committee to manage and coordinate our efforts. Our success is reflected in part in the support received, valued at more than 1.1 billion Jamaican dollars. On the 8th of September 1962, Jamaica was accepted for membership of the United Nations. It was a pleasure to commemorate this event, hoisting both the UN and Jamaican flags right here in downtown Kingston. We acknowledge that Jamaica has a record of achievements within the UN system, of which we can be truly proud. An area, Mr. President, of current and critical interest, which I just wish to note, is that of cybersecurity. I just want to note that Jamaica is coordinating CARICOM's position within the UN systems on the UN treaty negotiation process to elaborate an international instrument on countering the use of information and communication technologies for criminal purposes. Locally, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade plays a critical role in the interministerial approach taken to the subject. As the host of the International Seabed Authority, Jamaica welcomed this year's staging of the sessions of the Council and the Assembly, which coincided with the 40th anniversary of the signing of the 1982 United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea in Montego Bay. We will seek to build public awareness on deep seabed mining, providing facts and education in order to dispel misunderstandings. From time to time, the ministry has facilitated the repatriation of scores of fishermen rescued at sea or who found themselves in situations of distress in other countries in the region. In March of this year, our effort to repatriate students who had to flee Ukraine following Russia's invasion was also ultimately successfully executed under very difficult circumstances as we welcome home 20 students on Ash Wednesday. Our outreach continues as we now actively are facilitating interventions to obtain their transcripts and other vital documents from their universities in Ukraine. We also authenticated their documents free of cost to replace those which were left behind due to hasty exit, and we've also coordinated efforts with the Registrar General's Department and PICA to assist the students in replacing others. We continue to work on behalf of the students who have not yet had the results in respect of their documents. So I say this by way of update on what was a matter of great public concern. Mr. President, still connected to supporting citizens directly, I want to just touch briefly on the introduction of the apostilles in July 2021 to our authentication portfolio process. I am pleased to report that there has been a steady demand of this for this service, which is accepted in close to 120 countries across the world. The ministry, since we started in July, has issued more than 5,000 apostilles to date. Nationals are now enjoying a simplified and cost-effective authentication process, and we're now able, and this, I know there may be people who are listening who care very much about this, we are now able to offer the expedited service for eligible documents. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade remains actively engaged with Jamaicans overseas as part of the involvement of the diaspora in national development. I want to welcome the outreach spearheaded by Minister Hill of a trade delegation to Guyana, which explored avenues for economic trade cooperation and investment. These and other expected outreaches are expected to deepen Jamaica's trade with CARICOM partners. I am extremely proud of the Ministry's hard work to deepen our engagement and collaboration with all our partners in support of our national development goals and indeed our 2030 development agenda. And as always, government continues to build on Jamaica's solid, principle-based foundation and to address current, cascading, and interlocking challenges in a pragmatic way.